Hello everyone, very good evening to all of you. Myself Sanat Kumar Swai, Assistant Professor at Vedang Institute of Technology. And in today's class, we will be discussing about the verbal and non-verbal communication. Okay. In previous class, we have discussed about various kinds of communications. Today's class, we will be discussing about the various verbal. What is verbal and what is non-verbal? There are various ways of communication styles. So what exactly is verbal communication? What exactly is non-verbal communication? Okay. We'll be going through few slides. Okay. Now, communication. Okay, what is communication? Communication is like basically an interaction. Okay, we need to interact. Okay, if you want to interact with somebody, okay, then there has to be certain communication. Okay, various interaction, and that is known as communication. Okay, and that can be both verbal and non-verbal methods. Okay, various methods are being followed, which can be verbal and which can be non-verbal. Okay, so if you're looking at the Indian context particularly, communication is layered with various culture is plays a very important role, cultural nuances. Okay, uh, in Indian context particularly. Okay, so in this chapter will be we'll look at various verbal communication style and various non-verbal communication styles. What are their characteristics? We'll also look at few examples, and we will also find out their significance in the Indian society. Okay, now the first one is verbal communication. Okay, so verbal communication, what, what exactly is verbal communication? Something which is spoken. When we speak something, that comes under verbal communication. Something, when we write something, okay, when we write something, then that comes under the verbal communication. So what happens that we need to deliver the message, we need to deliver our information, any information. So that can be through speak or through a written form. Okay, now in India, you see that there are a lot of around 22 languages are being spoken. 22 official languages, not unofficial. Official language is 22. Okay, and multiple dialects. Okay, so you will see that India is a multi-diverse country, and the communication is really complex. Okay, now language diversity. If we look at language diversity, as I've already said, India has 22 officially recognized languages and numerous dialects. So, for example, Hindi and English, though it is widely spoken, um, but there are certain states in the south, for example, Tamil Nadu, they neither use Hindi, they neither use English. Okay, so they use their own mother tongue, Tamil. Okay, there it becomes very much difficult to communicate. So these kinds of linguistic diversity, okay, necessitates communication skills for effective interaction. Okay, if see you go to a state where you speak Hindi or you speak English, and that is being spoken by the people of that particular state. But where you go to Tamil Nadu and they don't speak English or Hindi. Okay, I'm not talking about the cities, but the interior parts. If you go to the interior parts and you see that they don't speak Hindi and English, and that becomes a very difficult on your part to communicate, effective communication. So language diversity is one of the example. Next, formal and informal speech. Okay. Uh, while you're talking at home, do you use a formal speech or you don't use a formal speech? Formal speech are like you address with respect. You use certain titles like sir or madam. Do you use this sir or madam while communicating at home? So formal is something when it is used in a professional way. You're using that speech, you're using the communication in a professional way manner. Then that is known as formal speech. Okay. For example, Formal speech conveys respect and professionalism. Okay, when you are working in a workplace, you normally use convey through sir or madam, which out of respect or professionalism. Whereas informal speech, you don't have to use this. That is informal while you are talking with your family members, while you're talking with your friends, okay, colleagues. You don't have to use this formal way of speech. So that becomes a informal speech. Okay. Idioms and proverbs. Now, what is idioms and proverbs? For example, idioms like "अच्छे दिन आएंगे." Okay. What do you mean by "अच्छे दिन आएंगे"? So this, for example, this is an example. Common items. Okay. Like "good days is going to come." Okay. So that reflects our hope. That reflects our value. That yes, tomorrow there will be good days, which is going to come. Okay. So this is the expansion. Is like idioms and proverbs are integral to Indian verbal communication. We use certain idioms, okay, in the Indian way of communication, and that signifies, that denotes our beliefs, and that denotes our wisdom. Next, non-verbal communication. Now, what is non-verbal communication? Which is the message, the information which has been passed on without any kind of words. And how we are going to do that? We are going to do that through body language. Very certain body language is there. Okay, certain expressions are there. Okay, certain gestures are there. Okay, and certain visual clues are also there. So these everything makes a part of non-verbal communication. And you see, in India particularly, it is also deeply rooted through our cultural norms and tradition. That is, it is deeply influenced by various norms and cultural norms and traditions. What is non-verbal communication, right? Gesture. Okay, what is gesture? Namaste. Okay, we say namaste. Namaste is also gesture. Okay, with palms pressed together. It's a common greeting. Okay, so what does it signifies? It signifies that uh, respect and humility. Okay, our cultural tradition, our politeness. Okay, so this is also a part of the inform communication. Okay, eye contact. Okay, you see sometimes in India you'll see there is a eye contact. If you keep staring at somebody, you mean sometimes if you have a eye contact with your elders or your superior, that is sometimes regarded as a disrespectful. Okay, in our Indian context. Okay, so this is also one of the part. Okay. Body language. What kind of body language you are? Sometimes you see nodding your head up and down, or nodding your head means your agreement. Yeah, you are agreeing to something. Okay. So there are a lot certain body language which we use during our communication procedure. Okay, but these kinds of body language uh, that may be a, very confusing for a person who's coming from abroad. Okay, facial expression. Okay, sometimes we smile for no reason. Sometimes a smile is understood for a specific context that can be used for a connotation. So that is also a part. But sometimes you see various cultural concept comes into play, and sometimes it we need to be we need to understand what are the cultural impact and what are the cultural um, 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 alignment with this facial expression. Okay, to avoid misunderstanding. Next, personal space. Personal space means if you are less in public places like crowded places. Okay, so what happens that understanding and respecting these norms is important for non-verbal communications in various kinds of different settings. Okay, right. Now with this we have come to the end of the slide. Okay, so what we have learned so far for verbal and non-verbal communication, we'll be discussing about verbal and non-verbal communication in the future class as well. Okay, this is just a in a very short class. Okay, we'll have a detailed class in the subsequent classes. Okay, So both verbal and non-verbal communication are essential for effective transaction interaction in this Indian context. See, uh, you need to have a blend of verbal and non-verbal communication. Okay, if your body structure, your body way of communicating, you are nodding your head, you are blinking your eyes, your way of presenting something, this also plays a very important role apart from your verbal communication. Okay, so both have a effective both are essential for effective interaction. Okay. Next, understanding the intricacies of language diversity, formal and informal speech, and culturally specific nonverbal clues are crucial for meaningful and respectful communication. You see, as India is a multicultural country, okay, we need to understand various diversified way of language diversity is there. Okay, what is the formal? See, what is formal in our society or our state may not be formal in other state. Okay, what is informal in our state may not be informal in other state. Okay, what is culturally acceptable in our may not be culturally acceptable in other state. Okay? So we have to understand those. Okay, we have to have a meaningful and respectful communication. Okay, by understanding the language diversity of our country. Okay, next. As India continues to globalize, recognizing these aspects can bridge the cultural gaps and enhance interpersonal. See, India is gradually becoming globalized. Okay, Indian society is gradually becoming globalized. So we need to understand these kinds of cultures so that that is going to bridge the cultural gaps, if any. Okay, and moreover, the it can also enhance the interpersonal relationship. Okay, across the various groups. Diverse group, you'll see there are a lot of states in our country, and um, it's not about state also. You see, in a single state also, you will find different kinds of diversified culture. Okay, so that helps us to bridge the interpersonal, enhance the interpersonal relationship. Okay. Okay, so with this, we have concluded. I believe you have understood. See, about the verbal and non-verbal communication, this is just a brief class. Okay, in the subsequent or in the future class, we will have a detailed class about it. Okay, but as of now, we have to stop for today. I believe you have all understood. Okay, thank you very much for your time and understanding. Okay, thank you.